Okay, so here it is. I just take a little time out to label, okay. Simply, I have 4 hard drive on mine, okay. So this is a top left one. So I label top L, whatever it is easy for you, okay. But before I do that, let's try the little minor thing. Like this one here is like a audio cable for my DVD drum, okay. So I'm going to take this out. So this one here, it looked like I have a clip that you pull, and then you just wiggle the wire out. You see that clip underneath there? Okay, you just push on it and pull it out. Okay, so this is audio cable for DVD drum. Make sure you label them. That way you put them back in the same way. Okay, and then after that, I got 2 USB port right here that connected to my USB, from the case. So I notice here, the rare one is to the left, okay, but you want to label these also, okay. So I'm going to put this, right. After you do all that, you again turn on the power button, press start button, and nothing happened, okay. And then what you want to do is press the start, press the power button to discharge our electricity. All right, and then next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take out these hard drive. Okay, so the SATA hard drive, wiggle it, take it out. Okay, there's a button here you push in, you pull them out. Some connector don't have the button, so be aware of that. Okay, so I'm going to take this one out one at a time. Take it out, turn off the power switch. Okay, press the power button. The computer should run in, but it's not beeping. And then you turn it off. You turn the power button off. Press the you turn the power switch off. Press the power button, okay, to discharge all electricity, and then you go to the next hard drive. Okay, so this one here, because the button is on the right side, and I got all 3 of them lined up. So I have to disconnect the one all the way on the left, okay? Because on the left it have that button for me to push, okay? So I just push the button and I pull them out like that, okay? After you pull that out, same thing. Turn on your power switch, press the power button. This thing running and no beeping, okay? So, and then you go to the next one, okay? No beeping. You turn off that switch. Press the power button, okay? Discharge all electricity. Go to the next one, like this, okay? Press it out, as you can see, coming out. Repeat the process. Turn on the power switch, press the power button, fan wheel running, you don't hear no beep. And then you keep going. You keep going all the way until you find that beep. Now this one here, as you can see, it don't have any power, the push button, okay? You see that? So it's depending on the type you get, okay? So now I get down to this point. Now I'm getting frustrating, right? So only thing I got is the power button right here, the power lights, and reset switch. And then I got here is it's a speaker, okay? So when I rebuild this, the case came with the speaker, but I have to connect this. I need this speaker on so I can hear it beep, okay? So now I got down to this point. Now I get frustrated, okay? So I pretty much have everything disconnected, okay? So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you how to re-grease the CPU, okay? So technically I'm going to take this out and see if it beep, okay? So this one here is usually come with a fan like that, okay? So I'm going to disconnect this fan right here. Okay, so you just pull them out like that. Okay, remember to mark these, that way you put back in the same place. Okay, now it doesn't matter if mine is an AMD, but it doesn't matter if Intel or AMD, it works the same way. Okay, the only thing is the chip inside is different. All right, and so on this particular one, it have the clip right here. You just flip it over. Okay, flip it over like that. So you flip that thing, you can see on the bottom here, this clip right here is kind of like disengaged. You see the one on top, up on top there. I don't know if it show clearly. Okay, you see how it go up? It's kind of like disengaged right there. And the only thing that holds the CPU in place is the grease inside. Okay, so basically what you want to do, you want to when this thing disengage, you have to disengage the two clip. Okay, like this one on the bottom, it come off like that. Then you want to disengage the one on top. Okay, see how I disengage it all the way out? Okay, so the only thing now is I'm going to pull the CPU fan out like that. Okay, and here's a grease. Okay, and there's a CPU right in there. Okay, so what I do every now and then, this grease, if it dry up, especially on laptop, you know, you have this problem. I do it to my laptop too. Okay, so basically what you want to do, you want to clean the grease off and then put in a new one. Okay, okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to wipe the grease off here. Okay, now whatever you do, okay, don't turn on the power supply to the CPU when there's no fan there. Okay, because that thing run hot and you can burn them. Okay, so basically on here, what I do, I take paper towel to wipe off the grease. Okay, like so. Okay, okay, now on the CPU here, okay, on the CPU here, you see this thing have this thing here, okay, this metal rod here. Okay, what you want to do, you want to push it down a little bit and then move the rod like that. This will disengage the CPU and then you can pull the CPU out. Okay, like so. Okay, disengage all the way and then you just pull your CPU out like that. Okay, like that. Okay, so I'm gonna set my CPU down on top of that fan like that. Okay, so now what you want to do, you want to turn power on, power switch on, start button, press in, and I'm not getting any beep. Okay, so even though the CPU is out, there's no beep, so you know there's a big problem. Okay, so what I can do now is I can reinstall the CPU. So as you see, when you reinstall it, you can see that up here corner it have an arrow right there. Okay, so when I got to this part, my camera all of a sudden turned the picture upside down for whatever reason. So I have to capture in still frame and then you know, rotate the picture so I can show you how to install the CPU. Okay, so this is the motherboard. Okay, so as you can see the arrow right there on the top left. Okay, okay, this is the underside of the CPU. Okay, you can see that arrow right there. Okay, and this is a side where on the top side, okay, you can see the arrow there, right there. Okay, so basically you want to match that arrow to the arrow on the motherboard. See that? So basically I'm going to take this, I'm going to put them in like so. Okay, you see the arrow on the CPU aligned with the arrow on the motherboard, just like that. Okay, alright, so once the CPU is aligned, push in, I use my thumb to guide that metal rod, okay, all the way to the left. Okay, so as I lay it all the way to the left, I latch it onto that that plastic piece right there. Okay, so it's go underneath and then it's hooked on, and that plastic is prevent this this rod from swinging back out. Okay, so that's how you install the CPU onto the motherboard. All right, so the most important thing is align your arrow. Okay, align it, take you know, align everything, all the pin, and then just slide it in. It should go in really easy, and then you just slide this rod over and lock it onto that tab right there. Okay, Okay, so after you finish installing the CPU in, the next thing I'm do, I use a thermal grease. Okay, the type I use is called Arctic Silver. Put a dag on there, just enough, don't put too much on here, okay? And I use glove so I can spread that evenly out there, okay? For me, my rule of thumb is just enough when you cover up the background, okay? But don't overdo it, because when you overdo it, when you put too much, when you put the fan back on, it's going to smear that thing around here, and that's not good, okay? So just barely enough to cover all the background, all the wood in the background, and that should be enough. And after you cover everything with the thermal grease there, now you're ready to put the fan back on. Okay, so for the fan, you see the top area up here, okay? The top area where it's flopping up and down. That hook gonna go onto that black thing right there on top. And then the bottom one, okay? This one right here where my pinky's pointing to right there. That one gonna go on the bottom there, okay? So to put them in, just align the fan inward like so. Make sure the top one hook on, that way it won't fall off on you. Okay, like that. Once you have the top in, now you line the bottom one in. Okay, trust me, it's easy with two hands, okay? Okay, as you can see, when I turn this down, that bottom one kind of like forces itself in there, okay? And basically, when I lock it, I'm just gonna press this to my right to lock it. So the key thing is, the one on top here, aligned to that notch, play with this handle right here, okay? It didn't show good on the camera there, but until you see the bottom one line up, okay? Once the bottom one line up, and now you might move this handle left or right to get you a little slack, but make sure the top one up here stay down, okay? So once you have this thing aligned in like so, okay, and just move your arm all the way to the right to lock it in like that, right? It's really simple. Okay, so once you replace the grease in there, what you want to do, you want to put this fan back in. Okay, so this one here, CPU fan, it's going on top here like so. Plug it in, okay? Really simple. It's only fit in one way, okay? Because they have that clip up there, and then that clip right there. So it only fit in one way. Okay, so all you do, find the terminal, connect it in like so. Okay, that's what I like to do with these wire. I like it to slide back here, so it's out of the way. Okay, all right. So once you do that, once the CPU is out, you know it don't have the beep, so you know it's something else. Okay, so now you have everything disconnected. Okay, so the only thing is on there right now is the wire from the power supply, and my motherboard just happened to have the 4-pin right there. Okay, so you got to have those two to run the motherboard. So now what I have left is the speaker, which I don't want to disconnect because the speaker I need it to communicate with me. Okay, so that's the only thing that I have left. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, and make sure you mark these. Okay, that's why the instruction manual come in handy, because it tell you where the wire go which. So make sure you mark this wire when you take it out. Okay, so the first thing, this is the power start wire. Okay, so once I pulled it, I can't use the power button. Okay, and then the two on the top one here is a power LED. Okay, positive and negative. So make sure you mark them, right? The green to the left. Make sure you mark them. You just pull them out like that. Okay. Now it's coming separate, but when I build this thing, I tape them together like that. That way it's easy for me to reinstall it. All I know is the green and white on top. Okay. So I'm gonna take this out. Okay. And now now what I do is I'm gonna turn the power switch on again, like so. Power button, push the power button, the fan running, okay? Still no beep, okay? No beep. Try to turn off the power, so turn off the power switch. Push the power button to discharge all the electrical that build up inside the capacitor, okay? All right, so next one I'm going to do, because I still want to use my power button, okay? And I know this is a power button right here. So what I do, I'm going to do the next one, okay? Which is the one down here, which is this one here is the hard drive LED, okay? The one on top is a power LED light, okay? So this one here, I also pull them out, so make sure you mark them, okay? So you take them out, and same thing, and then reset button, you take them out, same thing happened, right? Nothing, you turn on, nothing happened. The last part is now the power, okay? I take it out and nothing happened, okay? Okay, so after you remove the power connector, to start your PC without a power switch, all you have to do is take a screwdriver and connect the two terminals. Okay, put it right between the two terminals, and the fan should run on. Okay, so that's how you jump start this without the power switch. Okay, so now you say, oh man, I done all that, nothing happened. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this motherboard out. Okay, I think I figured it out. Okay, so what happened is I don't hear any beep, right? So I start taking out the battery, change the new one, clear the CMOS, take the RAM out, you know, doing all that. And each time I do it, you know, I plug the power in, start the system on, and nothing happens. So I continue, graphic card, everything come off, video card, you know, this have an onboard video card hooked onto it. So I took everything out, like what you see here, okay? Hard drive, everything. And each time I did it, I took one out, start the, restart it, you know, and nothing happened, okay? So when it come down to the only two left is the power supply, and the other power supply that run the motherboard is the 4-pin right there, and the CPU, okay? I even took the CPU out, cleaned it, put a new thermal grease on there, put it in, started, nothing happened, no beeping, no nothing. The only thing I left in is a speaker, which is, you know, I have one of these. That way it let me know, if it beep, that means it's a progress, right? So anyway, I did everything like what you see here on that case, and nothing happened, okay? So I took out the motherboard and I lay it on, you know, it got a plexiglass right here, okay? So so it's kind of like insulate really much from electricity, okay? And then when I lay it on here, plugged in that power supply, and then I turn it on, and this is what happened, okay? So when I turn that power supply on, I'm going to jump start this, okay? Two terminal there. There you go, the fan running. And now it start beeping, okay? All right. Okay, so let me turn this off. All right, so it's beeping, that means it's a progress, all right? But how come it doesn't beep when it's in the case? So this is what I think what happened, okay? So you see all that stand right there, all that brass stand, it look like this. There's 6 of them inside there, okay? So what I'm going to do is I found these washer off the old kit. You can buy these, you know, you can buy these at the Fry or electronic store. Basically, or you can cut a cardboard or something, you know. Basically, it just insulate electricity, okay? So what I'm going to do with these is, I guess I'm going to use adhesive, and I'm going to put it on to the hole where the screw going to be, the mounting screw going to be, you know, because that stand right there, I mean, this stand right here is go underneath, and then the screw go on top to mount the motherboard. Okay, so I'm going to put one washer on each side of the motherboard. That way when the screw tie onto the stand, it's insulated itself from grounding. Okay, so I'm going to try that. I'm going to install this back in. I'm going to try that and see if I can get the system running. All right. Okay, there it is. Okay, I use RTV. You guys see me use that on my car. Okay, you can get that at 99-cent store or Dollar General. As you can see, I put just a little bit on there, and then put those paper gasket on, okay, or washer, whatever you want to call it, on all of these, both the front and the back. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give it about 10 minutes for it to dry, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them back on there. Okay, now these brass ones, I see them sell at Fry, the plastic kind. So it's probably better for this job, just use the plastic kind. Okay, but I have all the brass one, and I have all these extra paper washer or gasket. Okay, so I'm going to use that. Okay, if you don't have these, I guess you can cut it out, some plastic, or you can use plastic, or one of those plastic bottles. You can cut it out, and basically what you want to do is insulate. When you put in the screw, it's going to insulate the screw, prevent the motherboard from grounding. Okay, and I think that's the problem. So I'm going to wait about 10 minutes, allow that to dry, and then I'm going to put them back. Okay, and then when I put it back, I'm going to plug the power in, and I'm going to see if it's still beeping. All right. Okay, so this is it for part 2. Please continue watch part 3 as I try to solve this problem. I'm getting warmer, but I'm not out of wood yet. Okay.